I think just about worked out my problem with my
Everybody ready?
Thank you all for being here. We'll go ahead and call us to order. It is 5:30. I would like to recognize all the guests that are in attendance. Are we good? Okay, sorry, I should ask you first. I'd like to recognize all the guests that are in attendance tonight. We do sincerely thank you for being here. Roll call, all 5 board members are here. I will let you know who they are. Rick Taylor, Mark Biggs, Vanessa Lucas, Joy Campbell, and Tanya Sattel. Any agenda revisions or additions?
No, ma'am.
Under item 2, routine consent actions, under A would be approve the minutes of the special call meeting for May 18th, 2022, approve the treasurer's orders, approve payment of bills, approve to apply for a 2022 Kentucky Department of Education Calming Space mini grant, approve the board members to attend the KSBA 2022 Summer Leadership Institute in Lexington, and that'll be July 15th through the 16th, and approve the 2022-23 technology plan.
So moved.
Joy makes that motion. Vanessa seconds. Any other discussion there? All those in favor? Item 3 is the student presentation and recognitions.
All right, we do have some recognitions. Congratulations to our members of the class of 2026 for completing 8th grade. These students will begin their next chapter as high school students in August. Also, congratulations to all members of the class of 2022 for graduating from BCHS on May the 20th. Special congratulations to BCHS senior Delana Dow for being named valedictorian and BCHS senior Reese DeHaven for being named salutatorian of the graduating class. Congratulations to all of our students who received their diplomas from the Breckenridge County Independent High School program on May the 26th. Congratulations to Mr. Jonathan Bennett for being selected to serve as the next principal at Breckenridge County High School. Mr. Bennett will begin his official duties on July 1st, 2022. Congratulations to Harnsburg Elementary School student Max DeHaven for winning the Western Kentucky Junior Golf Championship. Congratulations to all members of the Tiger Track and Field team for a terrific first season. A special congratulations to the following track and field athletes for qualifying for the state competition, and they did really well at the state competition as well. Isabel Grimes, Ava Phillips, Natalie Henning, Tracy Denson, and Elizabeth Grimes. Congratulations to the Fighting Tiger baseball team for having a fantastic season. The Fighting Tigers finished the season as district and region runner-ups. Congratulations to Cole Proctor for being named the 3rd Region Player of the Year, and congratulations to Isaac Seeger for being named First Team 3rd Region, and congratulations to Cole Proctor, Isaac Seeger, and Jared Harnett for being named to the 3rd Region All-Tournament team. And that concludes recognitions.
Thank you very much. Those are some good things. Item 4 would be discussion and action items. Under A, instruction and curriculum would be the Head Start report. Mr. Jared Brockman.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Jared. Well, summer has begun. So, last month we developed our PD plans for the summer. This year we're going to look at sign language, age-appropriate materials, and team building for the preschool staff. We conducted screenings for new students coming in next year. Had a really good turnout. Planning one more before school starts in July. And then soon we'll be preparing for our Summer Leadership Academy. We're glad to be able to do that again this year, and that will happen in the middle of July. That's my reports.
Okay. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you very much. Then we'll move on to 2, and we're going to hear reports from HES and Ben Johnson. Who's going first? Hey, Emma Morton.
I didn't give you a chance for being
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was so excited. Good evening. Thank you all for having me here tonight to brag on the students and staff of Hardinsburg Elementary School. It was a phenomenal year, and we have lots of recognitions and accomplishments to celebrate. Some highlights of the school year. In December, HES was nationally recognized as the best elementary school. Both of our basketball teams had successful seasons, with our Lady Bearcat basketball team being district runner-up, and our Bearcat basketball team were champions. They were coached by Lily Miller, Brittany Atkins, and Jonathan Bennett. Our archery team is also highlighted. They stayed extremely busy throughout the school year and wrapped up this season as regional champs. Nina Galloway and Barry Dow did a phenomenal job coaching and mentoring those students. Our academic team was also recognized as district champions, and they were coached by Miss Sonia Harper and Miss Gina Hodgkins. Then last, it was the first year for us to have a youth coding league that was coached by Mr. David Roach. They had a phenomenal turnout this year for it to be the first year that we implemented it. The kids were excited, they were engaged. And when it was all said and done, we had 2 students who placed 3rd in the community favorite category and 2nd in technical merit during the spring season, and that was Peyton Kennedy and Bella Roach. We had lots of celebrations. I think all of the staff and students were very excited for us to have more of a normal school year than we'd had in several years. We worked extremely hard, but we also needed to make sure that we had time to enjoy and have fun and celebrate. We picked back up with our weekly assemblies where we were able to recognize students for their achievements both inside and outside of the classroom. It was great to have guest speakers in the building again. The end of the year is very memorable for me because as principal, it was the first time that I was able to experience our rallies and our guest speakers and the 5th grade promotion, Head Start preschool graduation. So the past few months were very special. This evening, I did want to make sure that I took the time to recognize the staff at HES, and I noticed that several of you are here this evening. You know, I can honestly say that they make HES the energetic and loving and welcoming building that it is. And it's truly an honor to be there with them each day and to lead. Their dedication, like I've told them before, it's second to none. So, what's next? We are going to continue with our RISE reading program next year. We were able to implement it with fidelity under the leadership of Miss Casey Ledridge and some phenomenal certified staff. Every student that participated in that program this year at least leveled up one time, if not several levels within the program. So we are very pleased with the progress that they made. Our goal is to also increase our family involvement and our community involvement. Like I said, it was very exciting at the end of the year to have parents and grandparents and different community members in the building. So I want to make sure that we kick that off at the beginning of the year and keep that consistency of having them in and being supportive of us throughout the year. Like I said earlier, we did have a big focus on our RISE intervention reading group and our RTI and making sure that we did what we needed to do to work to close the gaps that unfortunately were created by the pandemic and the inconsistencies of the typical school year. So it's really important moving forward that we also have a return focus on our primary talent pool and our gifted and talented programs to ensure that those students, the work that they're getting is challenging and rigorous to keep them engaged. And then last, we're going to have a staff focus on PBIS so that we can continue to do what we need to do to keep students in the classroom, getting the instruction they need. And I know it's going to be a phenomenal year. Thank you.
I'd just like to take a minute and really brag on Miss Martin and the entire team at HES. I know there are several in attendance, but everyone at HES does such a great job. Teachers, custodians, instructional aides, cafeteria workers, front office workers. It's a great place to send your children to school, and we appreciate everything you all do. So great job this year, and can't wait to see what's coming in the future years. So great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Next up, Mr. Dudgeon.
All right. Well, hi everybody.
Hi.
First one, but you know what? I'm used to talking in front of people, so we'll figure this out.
You do know you have a time limit?
Yeah. I have instructed some people out here that if I get a little long-winded, they're going to play like the music at the Oscars.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
All right, so coming from the middle school, high school world, I thought we'd start with a few things that I've learned so far. All right, so never wear a white dress shirt on spaghetti day. Don't do that. At some point, we all need a little pick-me-up. I really got to learn how it is to be a Head Start preschool teacher because I spent the first 3 days with these guys down here. So this is a picture of our second day trying to get back from lunch, and I had my arms full with packing noodles. So that was fun. When they're making butter in Miss Wanda's class, go down there and enjoy it because it's a fun day. And then also, the one thing that I've really learned this year is be thankful for new people that you have. People in your life, and embrace the time that you've had together. These people right here have been very special to Ben Johnson. I learned a lot from that lady right there, and I wouldn't be where I am today without her guidance at the beginning of the year. And then this little guy right here, yeah, he was very happy. That's the day we made butter, and I wanted to make sure that he got his recognition. But some great people right there that I learned a lot from. All right, so we started off this summer with our Summer Learning Academy. This was actually the first young man that I ever met. He walked off the bus and he had red hair, so I knew I was in the right spot. So we had our Summer Learning Academy. That was in June and July. I learned, tried to learn as many names as possible there. We had a lot of good fun time. We trying to get back in the motion of going to school and figuring out who this new guy is. So there's our folks there. Our Youth Coding League, this is something brand new. This was led by Ms. Tia Smith. In the fall, this is our technical merit in 6th place and 8th place community favorite. Y'all can read that. But these are our 3 students who ended out this school year with us. And then actually over here in the bottom corner, this is the day that I was at home because I had COVID. And we set up a Google Meet afterwards with a friend of mine who's actually a computer coder. So it was like the first time I could find somebody to bring in, and I wasn't there, and he was in Nashville. So we had some great times with those, and that was our start to getting more people in the building. Our cheerleading squad, we had 11 or 12 girls there with that, and they cheered at all of our home games. That was our first big crowds as our basketball game, so that was awesome to start seeing people back in the building. Our boys basketball team, district runner-ups, and then our girls basketball team right there too as well. There's 9 of those girls, hard working, always hard working. Nobody hardly ever missed a practice, but super proud of them. Archery did big stuff this year. They were 2nd place at the middle school tournament, and then our archery team was the first time they ever went to state, which was kind of cool because I've never been to an archery tournament before, done band stuff, but I saw 10,000 students at state level in Louisville competing for that. So that was cool that it's the first time that Ben Johnson's team actually got to go. Our STLP, we had one STLP team this year. They had a couple of projects. This was our Fit for Life team led by Mr. Riggs, and they actually also went on to state with their state level project, which was Fit for Life. And then at the end of the school year, they started this Caught Being Kind. They would catch people in the hallway doing something nice, and they got caught being kind, and they were awarded prizes, and we recognized them over in the hallways and stuff like that. So, all right, our academic team, I didn't get a picture of these guys, but they did some awesome stuff too. 2nd place quick recall, future problem solving, and overall final standings. And then I wanted to recognize one of our students, Mr. Hayden Coyle. He was 2nd place in science overall at our academic team at the regional level. Also, at Ben Johnson, we had our Rise and Rise Up. We had one Rise group and then one Rise Up group, and then after Christmas, we had one teacher actually come to us and say, I think my whole class would benefit from this. So we're like, let's do it. So we all hands on deck, we had some special ed teachers help out, and you can see right here, there's 5 adults in that room right there at that time helping out with these kids and increasing their reading levels. So I've got some stats on there I thought was pretty awesome. I started plugging in some numbers. But you can see 13 students grew by 1 level, all the way up to 7 kids went up by 3 reading levels. In this 2nd grade level, and I can probably speak for all teachers and principals, but 2nd grade is where we saw the lowest middle level of reading, and we're like, we got to figure out a way to combat this, and that was our 2nd grade class, and it was a new teacher, and it was awesome that Ms. Tate had that idea, and we're like, let's do it, let's run with it. So we made it happen. I want to put some pictures on here, some fun times. There's some Miss Wanda in a swing because everybody likes to have fun. That was the one thing that, with all the things that we had to go through at the beginning of the year, we put a real big focus on, I'm all about having fun, and how can we make learning fun again for these kids who've been stuck behind computers or coming half a day. They've got to have fun because when they're having fun, they're learning. It worked when they were playing instruments. It's got to work for everything else, so that's what I stood behind. So we started having our folks, some friends from Rough River, come down here in the bottom right corner. They came in and did some presentations for us. We got some field trips out there. We've got field day. We had a talent show. The top right corner is a joke because Miss Paula always would leave Post-it notes for me, and she come down the hallway one day with Post-it notes all over her. So we thought that was a fun time. We have a picture down here of our kindergarten class, and I remember that was the day that we came back, one of the days, and I walked by and I looked in Miss Katie Carmen's class, and there were a bunch of kids sitting down, and she was reading a book, and I said, this is what it should look like. If you were to take a picture of kids learning in a school, that's what it should look like. So I had to catch that. So I've been trying to catch as many fun moments as possible. We had some awesome dress-up days. We all dressed up in the 50th day of school down there in the bottom left corner. All of our staff. Our students dressed up on Twins Day. We had our Dr. Seuss week. We had some tacky tourists up here, and we had some, we had lots of fun. That's more some fun times. For our Title I stuff, we had some nature hunt crafts. So these all were based around our book fairs. So this one was some kids had to find some things in nature that they thought looked like animals and build some stuff together. So I thought those were some cool things. Our family reading night, this was one of the first times we had people like coming into the building that wasn't for sports. So this was exciting to get families engaged and back in there. And of course we had to take another fun staff picture with all the goofy things down there. But it was great seeing parents and grandparents coming in and learning alongside their kids and seeing that like, this is what I remember. So looking forward, these are some things that we were talking about at the end of the year and constantly making things of like, how can we fix this? How can we improve this? It was already great when I was handed the keys. How can we adjust some things? You know, it's constantly revolving. So implementation of a school-wide writing continuum, this was brought to me by some of the teachers and said, we want to make sure that it's consistent from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade. But when I have a kid in my 5th grade class comes in, they said they know how to write this kind of paper, then they have it. They have this consistent expectations, language, examples, and structure all the way through. So we have a group of teachers that have met 5 or 6 times this past school year and already have that in place and ready to kick that off. So when you come in as a kindergarten teacher, brand new to our district, you know that this is our writing plan for our school, and it's already ready to roll. Expanding on family engagement, getting more people in the building. PBIS, clear and concise, as Ms. Martin was talking about with our PBIS strategies. Clear and concise, grade level appropriate, and data-driven rewards. I'm all about rewards, and this is how we're going to do that for the next school year. Expanding our social media outreach. I just put a little thing on here. I found this the other day. We had reached 17,711 people just through our Facebook page, which I think is crazy. And it's went as far as Rome, Italy, and I know exactly who that person is. So, project-based learning is another thing. We want more hands-on things. Let's get out there and let's learn with our hands and get kids excited about whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's get some things going. Small group instruction for all levels of learners. A lot of times we have small group stuff. We think about our students who are struggling. We don't want just our struggling students. We want our kids from all levels to have that exact small group instruction with their teacher. And I think that's great. It works, like I said before, with stuff that I've done. It works in everything. We are also looking at revising our mission and vision. It's a good time to do that. So we are starting that for next school year as well. And our semester rewards day is a 3-tiered system which will be based off of our PBIS data. We're also excited to have a new MSD classroom. Ms. Katie Carmen will be moving on the opposite end of the hallway and servicing our students in our area. So we no longer have to send them to Custer or Hardsburg. They're right there at Ben Johnson. And we have made room and we're ready to go. So we're also kicking off our Go Math that was given to us. That was our curriculum that was bought. We've already started implementing that. I had a couple teachers already start that. Last year after Christmas, they love it. We're rolling with that as well. And then I'll post on here also our TCM. That's all I have. I wanted to make sure that I have a big shout out to all of our teachers. There's been a lot of times that I've called them and said, I have no idea what's going on. Help me out. I've called each and every person, I think, in this building that has ever served as a principal, and everybody's been super helpful. Our teachers, our former teachers that have helped out, I know we have a lot of. Ben Johnson is just a great school that I can't explain it in any other words than how if I needed help with something, it was there. And I could reach out to any of them. They might live right down the road and retire, but they want to come back and help. And that's saying something about our small schools and in any school, that we have people that have retired and then they want to come back and make sure that they have what's best for our students. Our teachers at Ben Johnson are amazing. I was looking back, a lot of us are brand new, or we're either been doing it for 27 years or we've been doing it for a year. But it's great to see the work that we have of our teachers who have done it for years and our brand new ones, and the collaboration that they have is just second to none. All of our kids are amazing. I can't brag on them enough, and yeah, that's what we have. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Again, Mr. Dudgeon, thank you, and the team at Ben Johnson. Again, it's such a warm and inviting culture there. Every time you walk in, you feel that, and everyone at Ben Johnson Elementary School does a great job. So congratulations on a great year, and again, can't wait to see what the future holds.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Dudgeon. We'll move on to 3, which would be the report on the Brave Academy, and that'd be Ms. Norwood.
Well, it's been a year. So I'll just start off with the big numbers. In terms of enrollment this school year, we have served 285 students on the Brave Academy platform at one point or another. Data by school, BCHS had 163 students, which made up roughly 57% of the program. BCMS had 66. Ben Johnson with 20, Custer was 6, HES with 14, and Irvington was 16. So we did a lot there. Looking at our elementary students, total, excuse me, 56 K through 5 students were enrolled in the 21-22 school year. 20 of those completed a full year in Brave Academy. 90% of those students who completed that full year on Brave Academy completed and passed all of their assigned coursework. And 16 of our students on Brave Academy received special education or additional intervention services in person or via Google Meet through ESS tutoring or other after-school programs. At BCMS, 33 of those students completed a full year on Brave Academy. 100% of the 16 8th graders that we had were promoted to 9th grade on May 17th. 94% of our students total completed and passed all of their Brave Academy coursework. Those who didn't are in summer school right now working to make up any gap that they had, and then 14 of those received special education or additional intervention services in person or via Google Meet throughout the year. At BCHS, 111 BCHS students ended the year on Brave. 25 total high school graduates, 7 of those being early graduates. And I think we may have had 4 that opted very close to the end of the school year to go with the independent high school, so that maybe just a tad skewed. 19 of those students received special education or additional intervention services. And then 1,236 semester-long courses were completed by our students on Brave Academy for a total of 618 credits earned for high schoolers this school year. So going forward, I know that we kicked the ball around a lot with Brave Academy this school year, and a personal thank you to our board and our district leaders for recognizing that the traditional brick and mortar model was not going to work for all of our students this school year, and being creative and flexible enough and giving me a fantastic opportunity, which I will always be so grateful for, in learning how to go about providing a different type of instruction for our students. We had a lot of rave reviews from parents, those that ended the school year on Brave Academy. They were very, very grateful for us providing an alternative. So we look to refine some admissions guidelines and expectations for enrollment in Brave Academy in the fall. We've been working on a handbook, some different guidelines in terms of, making sure that our students are set up for success with internet capabilities in this rural community. We all know that that's an issue that's ongoing, and making sure that they get what they need in terms of intervention services, tutoring, and other special education services as well. One-to-one intake meetings with all new enrollees and their families prior to the start of the school year. SEL check-ins and an implementation of terrace metric survey for all the online students. This one's particularly important to me, those that we're not laying our eyes on every day in the school building, making sure that they're well taken care of and that their social emotional status is in a good place. We want to keep eyes on that going forward. An enhanced 3 through 5 curriculum, assessment strategies and tracking, and make sure that we're supporting significant student learning and growth achievement in that home environment. And then continue collaboration with our curriculum specialists to take advantage of the improved Imagine Learning bought out Edgenuity. So there will be some revamping there with courses next year. And again, I can't say thank you enough to everyone who has supported the Brave Academy throughout the year, our building leaders, our counselors, our curriculum specialists, the teachers who took time during PLCs to work with those curriculum specialists to make sure that our pacing was aligned with what was going on into the classroom. We had a lot of students that came back into the classroom throughout the school year, which is ideal, of course. We want them with us in person, and when they got back in person, we wanted to make sure that they were ready to go and hit the ground running with the rest of their peers. So next year, Dr. Arnold will be taking over the Brave Academy and be the digital learning coordinator. He wasn't able to be here tonight. He is taking a much deserved vacation in Florida right now, so I wanted to introduce him, so I found a way. But again, thank you all for this school year and this opportunity, and it has been an absolute pleasure to serve you all in this way.
Ms. Norwood, we thank you so much. Truly, Ms. Norwood started the school year building the plane while she was flying it. You know, this was definitely a new model, and appreciate all of your work, Ms. Norwood, and all of the collaborative work that took place to make it happen. Like you said, it was a true team effort across the entire district, all schools, from teachers to counselors to principals. Everybody was involved, and we appreciate everybody's work on this, and thank you so much for a great year, Ms. Norwood. And good luck in your new position. Ms. Norwood will be moving to the middle school as our assistant principal, so we're excited about that.
Good stuff. Thank you, Ms. Norwood. We'll go to item 4, which is review and discuss the district improvement plan implementation and impact checked and spring 2022 academic update. We got a lot of stuff here for you, Mr.
And I
Bogdan.
will try to move as quickly as possible. I want to just take a second though and recognize these leaders, Mr. Dudgeon, Ms. Martin, and Ms. Norwood. Didn't they do a phenomenal job this
Yes.
year? Can we give them another round of applause? Very proud of the work they're doing in their schools and with Brave Academy. Ms. Norwood and Mr. Butler did a phenomenal job building a foundation that we can build on. All right, with all that being said, let's jump in. District Improvement Plan. Now, we introduced this toward early in the year, and we want to go back and talk about how we implemented it and the impact it made. Now, what I love about this is we're going to talk quickly about the strategies, then we get to jump into the actual academics. You can see the impact that it made. So I think it's a great combo. So we did have 6 goals the state required. Out of those 6 goals, 26 strategies were implemented. In all schools, you know, we're looking at learning loss. We're talking about ways that we can assist in learning, whether it be during, before, or after school, social emotional well-being of our students and staff, of course, and then working collaboratively with Ms. Norwood, with Brave Academy, and Mr. Butler. Some of those things that were big highlights in our different levels. In the high school, of course, we're looking at post-secondary readiness, credit recovery, dual credit course offerings, and those continue to increase. I know Mr. Miller came out not that long ago and talked about the phenomenal numbers in all the different areas. At the middle school, amazing job with SEL, with the Flex Fridays, the tab room, the take a break room, math interventions. A lot were put in place. Now, and in a lot of ways, you know, we started the year with a lot of pandemic situations, staffing situations, so this would be one area where I would say that we are partially implemented. And that's not to do with anything that the schools were trying to do, just having the staff, you know, sometimes just to keep the building open was the concern at that time. And then using IXL as a diagnostic to find out where kids are, what they master, and what we need to do to keep moving forward. As you heard from both of our elementary principals, Rise and Rise Up were phenomenal this year. We were able to use some title funds and money to make sure each elementary school had the entire curriculum, which I believe that was a great assistance for them. And as you saw, our kids made phenomenal growth. It works. We have the evidence and the data to prove it, and we're going to keep doing it. Morning and afternoon meetings were phenomenal in each of the schools. And again, this is an SEL effect. We're finding out where our kids are, you know, socially, emotionally, when the day's starting, and we're wrapping the day up together, talking about what we learned, how did the day go, and those kind of things. Go Math curriculum was partially implemented as we started around Christmas time, but we're going full implementation starting next school year. And then PBIS, I believe you heard that a couple times already today. Our elementary schools will be implementing Tier 1 with Fidelity next year, so I'm very excited. And I'm very excited also that we'll be using some data instruments, so I'll be able to share some of that data next year. And we'll be able to talk about the progress that's being made in each of the schools. And then our middle school and high school, they'll be forming teams this year, and then getting things set up to implement the next year. All right, so let's get in the academics. I want you to keep in mind as we go through, and I got ahead of myself here a little bit, we're going to look at the ACT, we're going to look at MAP data and our kindergarten readiness assessment. The ACT data that I'm showing you right here, the class of 2022, that's last spring, okay? So this is scores that I showed you earlier in the fall. I just use that for comparative purposes. The class of 2023, that's our current juniors that took the test in the spring, comparable data. And then you'll see the class of 2024, we used title funds this year so that our sophomore class, our entire sophomore class, was able to take the ACT at no charge to them. So it's great preparation for them. Many of our students meeting benchmarks. And as you can see, there is progression here. And we had some great news toward the end of May. Governor Beshear talked about where our junior class will get to take the test next year as seniors completely free in the fall. So they'll have an opportunity to take that again as seniors. Now looking at some MAT data, and we're going to start with K-5 here. You'll see the fall and you'll see the spring. You'll see some phenomenal growth across the board. Keep in mind that this is impressive data for many reasons. One, because the ability to stay on grade level increases a whole grade level. You know, in the fall and what's in the spring, there's a whole grade level equivalency growth expected to be made. So if they don't make that, they won't maintain grade level. So you'll see great data across the board. At the middle school, one thing to keep in mind is we weren't able to implement a lot of the interventions that we're hoping to, especially in mathematics. That will happen next year. So you'll see some data growth, but not as much as we would like to see. Looking at the holistic approach to elementary, middle, and district, you'll see a complete 4% increase from fall to spring in reading and a 7% increase in mathematics. And that's very impressive as far as mathematics, because that was probably the biggest area hit because of the pandemic. All right, now this is new. Remember, we talked about this, I believe it was right after Christmas, around February, where we began a new kindergarten readiness assessment with preschool. So I really want to take a second and brag on Mr. Brockman, Ms. Jeffries, and our entire preschool staff. They did a phenomenal job implementing this and growing from it. Look at that data. You look at the at-risk students dropping from 11 to 5, approaching readiness 66 to 30, ready 18 to 20, and then accelerated from 5 to 45, so 65%. Let me keep going, get ahead of myself. Students assessed, same level, same kids. I took the same kids comparatively. Average score is 58, in the spring 78, ready at wintertime was 23. 65% of those kids now are ready for kindergarten. So that's phenomenal growth, and very impressive, very proud of our teachers and staff. All right, academic update, I'll finish with this. Right now we have some great learning opportunities taking place in our schools. Even though it's summertime, our schools are still open. We had the career camp took place at the ATC, phenomenal program. Camp Inventions going on right now. I know there's a Facebook post, not just maybe an hour ago, at the middle school. Phenomenal group of kids there, about 80 kids or so. There's several high school leaders helping to lead that, teachers and staff. Miss Hall and Miss Minarski are doing a great job. Phenomenal program. We have our summer learning academies. Our middle school and high school have already started with the credit recovery during the summer. Our elementaries will start next week. It will be a June and July program. Tiger Camp will be taking place at the middle school. Now this is a program, it's really more of a feeder into the middle school, preparing those fifth graders. They have a whole week preparing those fifth graders coming to the middle school. Pathway Camp, this is something totally new, and I believe really exciting. This is going to be only offered to freshmen. And what it is basically the teachers in those particular pathways are going to have exciting lessons and introductory days where those students wanting to maybe pursue those pathways will get to spend time with them. I know we're going to have one day for our students that maybe are looking at the aeronautics pathway, where they're actually going to go to the airport and spend time with Mr. Rotrammel, all the different pathways. So this is going to be an exciting week. And then I always like to highlight our kinder camps that we do at all our elementary schools. And I know our preschool teachers will also be doing a camp to help prepare students for kindergarten as well. So that's the academic update and implementation impact. Y'all have any questions?
That sounds good.
All right.
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Dr. B.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to 5, which will be discuss and approve the district strategic learning plan for the 22 through 26 years.
All right, I'm excited to provide you a proposed strategic learning plan. I'll call it SLP from this point forward for the school district. We're currently finishing our first SLP, which went into effect in 2018, which was a 4-year plan. Strategic planning is a process that many high-performing organizations do on a regular basis. Some organizations do this every 2 years, some do it every 3, some do it every 4. But the important thing is that it's happening. And in a school district, it needs to be happening at that district level. Our current plan was implemented during the 18-19 school year, and it really helped keep our school district leadership team on track over the last 4 years, and especially while dealing with the pandemic and pandemic shutdowns and some of the barriers and challenges that brought in. Some notable accomplishments from our district over the last 4 years is implementation of the profile of a graduate, having showcase of learning events and defensive learning projects, expanding opportunities for students to earn college credit hours and possibly obtain an associate's degree or close to an associate's degree upon high school graduation, expanding career pathways. There's been a lot of work done over the last 4 years to expand career pathways for our high schoolers to take part in. Some examples would be JRTC program, aviation, engineering, and that's just a few. There's several that's been added. Updating our new teacher induction program while expanding our presence in regional college of education departments. And Ms. Knuckle and her team's done a great job of trying to boost that up to try to draw more folks into our district whenever we need folks, and we need great people. Implementing a Grow Your Own leadership program in the district has taken place. Enhancing district-wide safety practices. A few examples was adding an SRO officer to the district, implementing metal detector wanding at the middle school and the high school for students every day, constructing a security vestibule at the front entrance of PCHS during the recent renovation. Another accomplishment over the last 4 years has been expanding our technology and infrastructure and pushing our district into a one-to-one Chromebook initiative for students. So a lot of great things have taken place over the last 4 years, and the strategic planning process back in 2018 really helped, I think, keep us on track. And even through a pandemic with all the challenges, we were able to still push forward and keep doing great things. And when I say we, I'm talking about the entire district, from custodians, cafeteria workers, teachers, instructional assistants. It starts at the school level and works its way all the way up to the district level. I'm proud of the hard work of so many to keep us on a positive track. Our new SLP that we're proposing is aimed at continuing the great work in the district. It's going to focus on the areas of a student-centered learning community, talent recruitment, development, physical and operational efficiency, and a safe and positive learning environment. It'll help us push us to expand work-based learning opportunities in the school district and increase service learning projects in our community for our students to be a part of. We want to continue the Grow Your Own program to include aspiring teachers and incentivize student teaching in the district in future years. In addition, we're staying focused on the school district's transportation program because we want to continue to maximize efficiency in that program. Facility upgrades will continue to be a focus over the next 4 years. We're very excited that the middle school renovation is getting ready to get underway. We're starting the paperwork process of that. We're going to continue the work toward providing our students the best facilities to learn in during the day and the best facilities to participate in extracurriculars in as well, because it's what we do. We want the best for our kids. Safety upgrades will be a part of these facility upgrades. The security vestibule at BCMS, the security vestibule at Custer Elementary School will all be a part of that. There'll be a major roof project that we'll be looking at for Ben Johnson Elementary School. So the next 4 years are going to be busy. We're still going to be doing a lot of construction and renovation, and we know that. But as everyone can see, the entire district has accomplished a lot over the last 4 years, but there's still a lot to do. And there's many people to thank for these accomplishments. First, our teachers. They deserve so much praise. These folks come to work daily and care for our students and do a great job. Our custodians, instructional aides, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, medical staff, maintenance staff, bus garage staff, central office staff, curriculum specialists, guidance counselors, principals, and district leaders. They all work hard for our Breckinridge County children, and I appreciate that so much. Also, I'd like to thank each of you, school board members. The district and community is blessed to have 5 school board members that care about kids and care about the people that work in our school district and our community. So thanks so much, and I am proud to say that I recommend approval of this new 4-year plan.
Thank you very much. Any motion?
Move to approve.
Rick makes the motion.
Second.
Mark seconds. Sorry, I missed that, Mark. Any other discussion there? All those in favor? That's good stuff. We'll move on to B, which is operations, and hear the update on the high school project.
Okay, I'll do a quick update, and we'll move on to the next couple of items.
We like the enthusiasm there, John.
John was ready to go.
We're working on contract closeouts right now and trying to get that all finished up. The goal is to have some BG4s, which are contract closeout documents from facilities, at our next board meeting. The last kind of open item that we're looking at, we're waiting on some pricing to do some paving work around the campus. And hopefully we'll have that change order. That would be the last change order for this project, thankfully. And last, we're just looking forward to having it completely finished and start to clean up the campus and make it look great. That's it.
And we're gonna get a heads up ahead of time about just how much the asphalt's gonna cost.
Yes,
Because
yes,
it
ma'am.
literally is rising minute by minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably June 29th, have some, it should be.
Perfect. All right. Item 2 would be approving the change orders for the high school construction project. You want to go through these,
Yes,
John?
so we got 3 tonight, 2 of which are just a total wash, it's moving some unused PO money to the contract where the supplier cannot provide the material. Contractor can go out and buy it himself, pay the sales tax. So it's 6-4 is an add to Chambers Painting, 6-1-1 is a credit to Sherwin-Williams, or vice versa, actually, I'm sorry. So those are a total wash. And then 9-1-1 is using the unused purchase order balance back to the district. It's a small balance on that PO, like $100 and some odd dollars back to the
We'll
district.
take all we can get. Mark makes the motion to accept those. Vanessa seconds. Any discussion there? All those in favor? We'll move those along. All right, you get to stay up there, John. Item 3 is discuss and approve the construction management contract for the middle school project.
Well, I'll be really quick. I know some of this may not interest you at all, but you know, since we started working down here, we've got some new board members, we've got a new superintendent, we've got different folks in different positions. So some of this is just information, some of the services we have provided and then contractually obligated to provide. So I just left those in there for your information. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to speak to any of those, but I'll try to zip right to the, if I can figure out how to work this thing.
Is it not working?
There
Okay,
you go.
yeah.
That's where Dale came in handy.
Yeah. A lot of this is, you know, some of the estimating, all that type thing that I know, if you have any specific questions, I'll be glad to speak to that. That's pretty boring stuff, I think. So, but really I want to talk about what we can do to improve if we are so lucky to be part of the next project. Two major things: better communication daily with you folks and weekly, monthly with the board. I think there was a breakdown there as far as relaying the day-to-day progress of the project or lack thereof, and change orders. So the two main things I want to talk to you about is full-time on-site construction supervision. And we got caught in a situation with Dave's health that put us in a bad spot. We should have done a much better job of managing that position. And we put some different policies in place in our office to prevent that from happening. And even if it's me being on site daily myself, that would be the solution if it came to that. But that
Okay,
would not
so,
happen again.
so kind of what's your plan, right? And I'm not gonna lock you into names or whatnot, but are we talking, we're gonna have a primary construction supervisor, that person's gonna have a backup, and that person's gonna have a backup?
Correct.
So it's gonna be one of 3 people, not one of 7?
Correct.
Okay.
One person primarily, and if there will be somebody slide in the event that it would be needed. But now I think you're talking 10 months or so from now, so I really couldn't.
Well,
propose a certain
sure.
person, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Anything can happen to anybody at
Yeah.
any time.
but what we would try to do, if we were coming in here totally blind, first time ever meeting each other, we put some resumes in front of you, say, here's 2 or 3 guys we were proposing, you know, which one do you feel most comfortable with? And let you all decide.
Well, you know, John, it might not be a bad idea just to do that. Just, and I realize we've worked together for a lot of years since I've been on this board for 20-some time.
Sure.
But just let's not take each other for granted.
Absolutely. Secondly, I think, Dr. Carter, you might appreciate this one. This is a sample daily report that's done every single day on the job site. So at the end of each day, I get this in my email, and it's very easy for you all to get this in your email if you would like.
Yeah.
Anything taking place on the project, anything and everything, every conversation with the architect, you name it, it's in this report, and that can be put in your inbox if you would like.
That's a great
Yes.
tool.
Yeah.
Some of these are kind of reports whose court the ball is in, who's holding up the show as far as submittals, RFIs, those type of things. Some of that might be helpful to push the project along as well. I did want to talk this next few things on change orders. This is a sheet that Michael's very familiar with. We share this regularly. As far as this isn't for your project. This is another one we have going on currently. Tracking proposal requests, and as they evolve over time into actual change orders to be presented to you all, kind of helps us track the costs. And I'll show you a little contingency report here in just a second. But this is something, if you wanted, could be put in your board packet each month, kind of show you where we stand as far as the dollars are concerned. This is one that we always do on other projects that we didn't when we first started working down here for various reasons, but I would propose doing this next couple slides for sure. This is just a little report on change orders that will be coming to you and why. You know, it's not just here's what we're gonna do, but give you a little background information of what's the reason behind this.
And John, not
That's
to confuse things, but do you all use like a plan of actions and milestones and color code it out when you get to a point where you're not gonna make your dates?
Yes, sir.
That would be something that would be good for these guys to get.
Yeah, we use Microsoft Project typically for our
There you go.
instructional scheduling. It's a milestone schedule.
Yep.
Yes, sir. But this would be like for each month's change orders. But this one here would be probably more interesting to you all. Kind of gets you in the loop of things that are floating out there that you could potentially see ahead of time. So it gives you ask me and ask the architect, hey, what's that about?
Especially the supply chain issues that we've had in the past and we're still having.
Absolutely. But this, I think this one is a for sure, kind of give you a heads up, way ahead in advance of any potential changes. And then we've got a much prettier report that our software does, but this is just a quick snapshot of how to track that contingency balance, anything as far as project change orders, and then we may cost work on Michael's end, any other owner invoices, anything you are paying for outside, furniture, equipment, those type of things that aren't necessarily running through the job, but we can give you an update, which we do in your pay packet, but it's a huge report. This would be a much easier snapshot for you to track your contingency. Of course, again, we can put these weekly and monthly meeting minutes in your hands if you so choose. Some board members, some owners want to see that, others just say, tell us when the ribbon cutting is. So we can give you as much information as you would like. It's there, you just need to share it. Really, that's pretty much what I wanted to speak to. I feel like it would be very easily accomplished. You can communicate better. We're doing reporting anyway, just need to do a better job of relaying it to you.
We had a lot of conversations over this past project, and a lot of this stuff that he showed you, I see anyway, at on the job site or in the management meetings that we have. But we thought of ways that I asked him to think of ways to formalize that for you all to get. Communication was the big issue that we had, and I think they've done a nice job of putting something together.
Well, and with the great challenges, the pandemic of shortages, labor shortages and supply chain, I mean, it's been that's kind of compounded it as well. So it's been and that's certainly not going away anytime soon.
Right.
So.
I really commend you for the proposal for new and effective ways of communication. And we've had a great working relationship for years. And we really appreciate Codell for everything that they've done for us. We realize that those workforce challenges, they're not just here, and they're everywhere, and a lot of that's out of your control. But we'd like to really thank you for the work that we've received in the past and will continue to receive in the future.
Appreciate that.
I would think the main thing that we need to do is admit that a building that's was built in the 60s, there's going to be multiple rat's nests that we run into. And we just have to understand that that's going to slow the project down, but if you would just tell us that that's what's going on and do it in a timely fashion, we would appreciate it.
None of us enjoy renovation projects. They've been a challenge in the past.
Sure. That's for sure.
And I promise not to bark too many times.
Not at all.
Did somebody record that?
Yeah.
We've got it on, it's forever on the
It's
internet, I'm
Facebook.
sure.
I think that's all I have.
Thank you,
I
John.
am like Tanya, though, I do appreciate those reports, especially the contingency one. The only thing I'm gonna say is the balance, I sure hope it's gonna be in black.
Keep it in black.
Yeah.
Well, just so that the public knows, we get information, a lot of information from Dr. Carter, Mr. Moreland, as we go, and impending change orders are something that we do hear about, but seeing them in writing and actually keeping a mental tab for ourselves might help us to keep things in order as well. So I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Can we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Joy makes the motion to approve Codell for the middle school project,
I'll second.
and Mark is going to second that. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 4, which is approve the initial BG1 for the Breckenridge County Middle School renovation project.
Going over with.
Tough one to follow, Mike.
Yeah, Well, now that we got the entire construction design team together, which is great, I appreciate you approving that. This is the first step. This is sort of the placeholder for the facilities branch to say, hey, we're starting a new project. The numbers that are on the BG1 are just a complete estimate at this point. So I will say they will most definitely change. And certainly with labor issues that we're seeing, material costs and lead times and those kind of things, I can assure you the numbers will change. We've estimated around $14.2 million in construction costs right now. And again, that's just an estimate. The main thing we're trying to do right now, especially now that I can pull in Mr. Codell into the design meetings, is to define the scope of the project, to decide what are we doing at the middle school, what areas are we gonna hit. We've expanded the scope a little bit. Dr. Carter mentioned it, I think, in the SLP with Custer Elementary. Certainly school safety is on the forefront right now, but we'd already planned to do a security vestibule there anyway. And then Ben Johnson, we've got to do some necessary roof work. So all that will be a part of this project in terms of the scope, but we're still sort of going through and trying to determine exactly what that's going to be. So again, it's an estimate, but this is the first step, so I recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Joy makes a motion, Vanessa seconds. And I'd like to remind everyone that this was an offer of assistance, the money for this project. This is not a general fund project. There's a lot of items that will be touched that, we've had kind of on the district planning for years and years. But the money for this is an offer of assistance from the state. And we'd like to thank those higher ups that made that possible and for our district leadership that put it together as well. So getting back to that, Joy made that motion and Vanessa second. Any other discussion? All those in favor? We'll move that along. Item 5, approve the 22-23 school year after school learning academy rate of pay.
All right.
This is a good one.
Yeah, so what we've done during the pandemic, we've utilized ESSER dollars to increase our after-school learning program rates of pay. So for what we are proposing for the 22-23 school year is to do what we did the previous year, which for certified folks is $40 an hour, and for classified folks it's time and a half. And we did that last year, and I just want to say that we are seeing some tremendous after-school learning programs and great attendance from children. The elementary schools, I know Mr. Hayes has told me about just more and more kids are wanting to stay after, parents are calling and requesting, and we're seeing that with our summer learning programs as well. So I think it's a great thing if we're able to do it, and I'd recommend setting the rate of pay at $40 an hour for certified staff and classified to be at time and a half.
Make a motion.
Mark makes that motion
Second.
and Rick seconds. Any discussion there? All those in favor? Carry that one. Item 6 would be discuss and approve the sign-on bonus for school district bus drivers for the 22-23 school year.
So with this, and Mike Harnet's available if anyone has any questions about that, but you might recall that around, I believe, January, we approved a sign-on bonus of $600 for new bus drivers for the rest of the school year, and I believe that was, they would receive $200 upon passing their initial test, $200 after driving for 30 days, and another $200 after driving for 60 days. And it's a recruitment effort to try to encourage more folks, and also to help those folks as they get started. I mean, once you are hired as a bus driver, there's a time period there of getting taking your test and getting all that stuff rolling. And we're hopeful that we're not going to have to hire a bunch of new bus drivers this year. We have a great school bus transportation driving fleet and team. But is there anything you'd like to add to that, Mr. Harnet? Okay. We'd like to propose it for the next school year. I'm sorry.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve a $600 sign-on bonus subject to all applicable withholdings for regular bus drivers hired on or after July 1st, 2022 for the remainder of the 2022-2023 school year to be paid as follows. $200 upon completing the certification process, $200 after actively working or driving for 30 calendar days, and $200 after actively working or driving for 60 calendar days.
Mark makes the motion.
Second.
Rick will second. Any discussion there? All those in favor? That's a good thing. Item 7, discuss and approve the differential compensation for school district bus drivers for the 22-23 school year.
So this is another program that we started up around that January, February time period to get to the end of the school year, where we were compensating drivers that drove both routes each day, morning and afternoon, an additional $10 a day, and we found that to be successful. And we would like to propose doing that during the 22-23 school year.
Move to approve.
Was that you, Rick?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Rick makes that motion? Mark, you gonna second that?
Second.
Mark seconds that motion. Any discussion there? All those in favor? We'll carry that one along. Item 8 is approve the first reading of the annual policy and procedure update.
You have that in your packets. It's a lot of reading. This comes from KSBA every year. KSBA always puts together an annual policy procedure update after the General Assembly passes all the new laws to make sure that all of our policies are up to date with the latest laws. And I've reviewed. I recommend approval.
It's a good read. Vanessa makes the motion. Mark seconds. Any discussion there? All those in favor? Read it twice if you didn't get it the first time.
We do have to read it again.
I know. Item 9 is approve the out-of-state field trip for Irvington Summer Academy to Indiana Caverns in Corden, Indiana, July 21st, 2022, utilizing district transportation.
Looks like a great time. It's just great to be able to have so many kiddos take advantage of summer learning programs and have a chance to celebrate the end of the summer learning program by a little trip like this. So I recommend approval.
Vanessa makes the motion. Joy seconds that one. Any discussion there? All those in favor? Glad to have them going. All right, at this time, we will enter closed session to conduct preliminary discussion relating to evaluation of the superintendent pursuant to the KRS 61.810 and KRS 156.557.
Since we need a few minutes to- everybody's on.
Sure. Do you want to read it?
No, you're fine.
I'll let you. They might get tired of hearing you talk.
I never did.
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call us back to order. We are back online. We have exited closed session. Item 7 would be to the adoption of the summative evaluation of superintendent pursuant to the KRS. The board has prepared a statement in regard to the standard that we reviewed. If you don't know, there are 7 standards of the review for the superintendent, and each year we choose 1 or 2 standards to review as a group. We do that collectively, individually, and then collectively, and then we ask for input from Dr. Carter. This particular standard is influential leadership, and there are a rubric to go by for that scoring, but we've prepared a statement in a summative review. In review of Standard 7, influential leadership, the board members agree that Superintendent Dr. Nick Carter has performed exemplary in his abilities. Dr. Carter has cultivated a connection between the political figures of our county and state offices. He actively participates in many organizations to continue to gain knowledge on the most current affairs that affect the district. This has afforded valuable insight and guidance for our learning community. In this ever-changing society, he has proven to be an influential leader, always putting the success of students first. And I'll give you a copy of that as well. And do we need a motion to adopt that? Joy makes that motion.
Second.
And Mark would like to second that. Any discussion there? All those in favor? Okay, we'll roll on down the line here to BCEA, BCESD. John? Good afternoon, Mr. Whipple.
Afternoon, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always really glad that my comment, well, this month and last month, I was glad that my comments came later after hearing all the really wonderful things that are going on in the county, because then I don't have to spend a lot of time telling you what you already know, because there's some really good things happening here, and BCEA is here today because we want to make sure that we take care of the people that make those happen. I'll be honest, I had a difficult time today preparing my remarks, so I don't want to make a speech. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to represent the members of the Breckenridge County Education Association. So rather than bumble around trying to find a clever way to make a speech, I'm just going to start. I'm sorry, but we are still dissatisfied with the 22-23 pay scale. What we want is for the board to sit down with BCEA reps and negotiate an amendment to that pay scale. We can sit down and talk with y'all, put forward our request, get a chance to hear how you made your decision for the pay scale. That's what we're asking for. I've been told that there's a plan to raise pay in the future, and I understand that, but we have people that can't wait for a 2-year plan, all right? And we certainly can't wait for the General Assembly to meet in the next biennium for them to fix it. They should have fixed it this year, and instead they left you all holding the bag. They really did. They say that they put out enough with the resources when they didn't, when they agreed to pay for transportation, when they agreed to pay for a lot of the other stuff, when they increased the seat funds, that was with the impression that you would be able to provide the number that Steve Meredith was telling people was 5%, right? Everybody else got that 8%. So we can't wait. We don't think it's right to make our members wait 2 years or wait for a 2-year plan for everything to click into place for us to be for there to be a raise, and we don't know how much that will be, it's just someday we're hoping to be able to do that. Our district has educators who are barely making it out. I have here, our district has educators who are barely making it financially. I have no doubt these young people will make it. They'll squeak by. My wife and I did when we were their age. They'll just have to cut back and make do like we did, right? And that's wrong, all right? It's unacceptable for us to have people to make the decision, am I gonna buy gas to be able to get to work, or buy diapers and food to feed my baby, right? I see all these really wonderful programs that we've got, the SLA, where they're gonna be able to pay $40 an hour, you know, and I have a question, I'm sorry, but that's from ESSA funds, correct? The $40 for SLA. We're not paying for that. It's been said here today, and I'm not trying to like slam anybody. It's really a good thing that we've got $14+ million to renovate the middle school that isn't gonna cost us a thing. So I don't know where the funds came for HES. I don't know where the funds came from Irvington. How much of that did we pay? If we're not paying for these, where's our money going? And I know it's going good places, but some of it needs to go to these young educators that are just struggling to get by. We're asking our young educators to cut back. The school district's gonna have to cut back just as much. If an individual has to cut back to squeak by, then the employer should be having the same responsibility. I've gotta tighten it here somewhere. We can't fix this ourselves. We need the support of state and community leaders, people in our community, all the folks that are here today, families. Everybody's going to have to work this out and support you and support us when we go to Frankfurt and tell them, yeah, they're going to have to do better next time. There are several other school district boards that have already revised their pay schedules. So we are making a formal request for you to follow their example and sit with members of the board and negotiate a solution to this problem. I want to close by thanking all the educators, families, and members of the community who attended today's meeting and last month. Your presence here is a powerful indicator of interest, and I continue interest and caring, and I urge you to continue your support. Thank you. Was there a question?
You made a statement and I just had a question. You said that when the legislature put out the funding, and you said everybody else got 8%. What 8% are you talking about?
All these state employees got from a 6 to 14, 8% was what the number that I saw. If that's wrong.
State employees.
State employees.
State employees.
I just wanted to clarify because I
All
wanted
right,
to.
thank you. Yes, all state employees, except for school teachers, except for classified, certified.
That's got nothing to do with us, those. I understand that.
Thank you, Mr. Whipple.
Thank you. We'll move on to item C, which is the superintendent's report.
I'll be quick. Just we're gearing up. We've got summer learning taking place this week, middle school and high school, and gearing up for summer learning in the elementary schools get going. Camp Invention this week. It's great. Basketball camps last week, so a lot of kiddos participating and doing a lot of great things, and we're excited about that. So, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. It's nice to be in the summer months when there's not as much going on.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item D, which is public comment. We do have one person signed up to speak, and that would be Miss Jenny Owen. Before she speaks, and you may come on up, I just have a real brief. I just wanted to let you know on my part that I was, at the last meeting, I was a little overwhelmed not only by the support for this movement, but also for, you know, some of the comments that were of discontent. We as a board work hard. We put a lot of hours in. You don't see what happens in the background. You might see what happens in meetings, but there's a lot that happens, and we all put a lot of pride into what happens and what comes out of the board meetings. And when we hear that not everybody's happy with that, sometimes we take that very, very personally. And I took it very personally at the last meeting. And I think that we do a good job. I hope that you think that we do a good job. I think that we're good stewards with the community's money. And that's basically what we're here for, is to hire the superintendent and to evaluate him and to be a good steward with your money and make policies that are good for students. So for me, it was hard to hear that you had some discontent with that, but know that we'll move on and we'll do better. We will work with you. We're always here. Our doors are always open. So feel free to reach out or to know that the school board is here to support you. And we hope that it's reciprocal. And that's all I wanted to say. I apologize, Jenny, for taking up your moment there. If you want to continue on, you may have the floor.
Hi, first of all, I'm going to try to talk loud because Dad told me to talk loud. I'm Jenny Owen. I've been a teacher for 8 going on 9 years. Most of those have been in the Brett County school system. I'm also a 2009 graduate of BCHS. I graduated with a couple of your all's kids, and I've taught many of your kids. Most people who have known me since I was little would be able to tell you that this has been my dream job for a long time. I love what I do. I spend a lot of time in my classroom trying to teach my students to be better advocates for themselves. I try to teach them that if they have a problem, it's their job first to call my attention to it, and then we will try to solve it together. So here I am trying to practice what I preach in my classroom. I was at the last meeting where we attempted to draw your attention to the issue of the poor excuse of a raise you presented us with in hopes of coming to a solution together. As it's already been addressed, we felt like those were unheard. And I'm going to keep my comments short. The only other thing I would like to say about that is that I know we've already lost one science teacher at the high school. I've also heard personally of 1 or 2 more that we may lose this summer due to other districts just paying more. These are people that don't want to leave our district because they love it here as much as I do. These are people that feel like they can't afford to stay here. With a nationwide teacher shortage, especially in things like science and math, we have to figure out a way to be competitive, or we're going to slowly lose more and more teachers. And in my opinion, that's probably the worst thing that you as a board can do for our kids. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Owen.
You know I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'm behind her.
So again, thank you all for coming out. As I told you last meeting, that I am listening, I am hearing you. I am a woman of my word, although some of you sitting back there, I don't think probably know me personally, but there's enough of you in this room that know me personally, that know that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I have, along with Ms. Sattel and Dr. Carter, we had the meeting that I told you would happen. We are having ongoing discussions. We are working on a plan that we hope to, as you said, Jenny, we come together. One of my priorities, in addition to having happy, healthy students with the best education and the most content teachers, is that we stay Breck strong, meaning there are no cracks between the board and the teachers. We are Breckenridge, and we need to stay that way. And we will come together. And just like when sometimes we have family conflicts, it's painful to work through them, but we become out stronger on the other side. We will work through this as a family, not as enemies, because that's not who Breckenridge County is. And that's not the district we want to be. So, thank you for coming out. I know it's hard to be patient. I'd love to snap my fingers and fix things quick. As Ms. Sattel said, we're open for comments, for one-on-one discussions. I became aware yesterday that some people were not aware that I still work a full-time job outside the county. So I may be a little harder to communicate with. Do not use my school board email because that's not the one to check. But feel free, campbelljoyd@gmail.com. Feel free to shoot me one. I'll be happy to set up a time to speak with you on the phone, in person, whatever we need to do. Thank you.
I'd like just to make a really quick comment. For the first 3.5 years that I've sat on this board, I had 2 phone calls in reference to school matters. I've had 5 times that many in the last 10 days. We're here as your representatives. If you've got a problem or a question, or you hear something that doesn't make sense, please contact us. You don't have to wait to a board meeting, okay? All of us would much rather you call us or email us and say, hey, I heard this, is this true? Than to have you hear something that's a rumor and it gets spread around and then everybody get worked up in a tizzy over it, only to find out that it's not. So please, that's why we're a board, you know. We're here to represent you and get your feedback and your input to the Board of Education. So contact your members, please. You don't need to wait till a meeting, all right? My email is on the website for the board, and my other one, you know, it's out there as well. I'm in the phone. Well, don't call my phone because we don't use our phone, but you can get me at my my email for the Breck County school system. Okay, and I'm sure that all the rest of them will tell you the same thing. Don't wait till a meeting. You can contact us anytime. Okay. Thank you.
Motion for adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Rick
I'll
makes
second
that motion, Mark seconds it, and we're all in favor?